Hey everyone, it's Phil K here from Not Our Films. Welcome, thank you for tuning in. From a very young age, I knew I was different, and to this day, still am. When I was in school, I wanted to do nothing but learn about the arts, filmmaking, animation, acting, camera work, sound, special effects, lighting, you name it, I wanted to learn it. And everyone else was doing, their own thing, whether it was football or just girls being girls, etc., etc. And I was always the odd one in the classroom, and it never bothered me in the way that people thought it would, because when I was listening to the voice inside my gut, it said, keep doing what you're doing. I've come across quite a few people who are in the same boat who don't understand what it is they're meant to do. And the only way that I can explain it myself is the more you watch films that you enjoy of a certain genre. For me, it was always horror. Obviously, I watch other films as well, but it's more of the more you watch what you want to watch, the more you start practicing what you want to learn, the more you start getting good at what you are good at, the more the voice will get louder and louder, the more your gut instinct will get stronger and stronger. When I was in my final years of secondary school, again, you know, it was all GCSEs pushed in your head, exams. I did them because you had to, but deep down inside, I knew there weren't going to be any use to me in the long run. And when I went to college, that's when I knew I'd found my sort of home from home. Went to university, and as much work experience from there as possible. And it's one of those journeys where you can't explain it to anyone else unless they are someone like yourselves who understands it. It's not a path for everyone. A lot of people don't understand, how much commitment it takes and how much dedication it does take. People think, it's just a hobby. It's not a hobby. Filmmaking is storytelling. That is ultimately what we are. We are storytellers. And to survive in this industry, to even get your foot through the door in one way or another, what I've come to learn is if you're talent, if you are sort of either behind or in front of the camera, you need to be liked, obviously, be admired, have a following, have a fan base. Many people today already know that, it's down to how big your fan base is, your following, your subscribers, whatever you want to call them. And you have got to show your audience what you are best at, because that is the only way you will get people's attention. In Sister Act 2 with Whoopi Goldberg, there is a scene where one of the singers is told by Whoopi Goldberg's character, you need to scare people with your voice. You need to get their attention, basically. And he starts practicing singing with the piano, and she stops him straight away and she says, that's not going to scare anybody. So he sings louder, and then she says, now you've got it. And that is what I am saying to a lot of people out there today. Whenever I do these podcasts, I always do my best to try and give as much useful information as I can. And one thing that I will say is, you do need to scare people. You do need to hook people, open their eyes as much as you can. When it comes to this industry and, pulling people together, whether it's, collaborating, networking, connections, whatever you want to call it, when you are meeting people, they will get an impression of you. And when they see your work, again, they will get another impression of you. And if you want to stand out with the crowd, if you want to be that person that hits the nail on the head, is up there in this, in the lights, on the big screen, or whatever you want to call it, you have got to be liked by your fan base, your followers. You've got to be admired. And the reason I'm saying all this is because there are a lot of people out there now who are struggling because there is that much competition out there. And when I've been watching some new independent films lately, there's a few new faces that I didn't even know did acting. Because I think it's Matt Rife he's called. He's a comedian and he's also an actor. And he was in a film. I think it's this is gonna laugh. It's got Jamie Kennedy in it. I think it's Don't Suck it's called. And it's like a black comedy horror film. It's nothing scary in that sense, but I thought, you know what? I like Jamie Kennedy from Scream. That's how I know him. I know this Matt guy from a few comedy clips I've seen, so I thought, you know what? Let's see what it's made of. I shot it on. It was an alright film, you know. And when I did a bit of research on this comedian, Matt Rife, he started out like many other people have started out online video clips, OnlyFans, getting people to pay, and he's built up an audience. He is now known to the industry. He is, I'm not going to say he's in high demand in that sense, but he is growing. He is building his own empire. And the way he does that is the way I'm saying you need to do it on here. Bring out the best work you can. Practice the best work you can. Show it to people. Allow them to follow you. Allow them to support you, to like you, to subscribe with you if you do that. And the more you allow your audience to grow with you, the more you will get noticed. That is an obvious one. Now, people might think, well, everything I'm saying is so obvious. Is it though? That's what I'm saying. There is that much competition out there, and there is that many labels for very famous people. You've got icons, legends, superstar, rock star. And when you take a step back and look at this from a neutral point of view, the reason these people are so famous is because their work and themselves as an individual, they are so, you know, in high demand that the work will always be there for them. And obviously that type of career progression, it simply doesn't happen overnight. It takes decades or brilliant, amazing talents to achieve that. And often when I see people online on social media and whatnot struggling, you know, saying, you know, they're struggling to get anywhere, you've got to put yourself out there more than you have ever thought you would need to. And I do as much as I can. Engage with people, talk to people, find people on your wavelength. I've said that countless times. Find people with the same interests as you who will support you and you can support them. You've got to stick together. You know, if they're trying to get their work out there, share their work for them. Then when it comes to your work being shared, ask them to share it. Rub each other's backs. There is that much competition online now. It's absolutely unreal. And when you think to yourself, you know, how do I stand out with the crowd? You've got to be the best you can be at what you are best at. And this is the stuff they just do not teach you at all. I went to college and university to say, I have attended master classes throughout the years, spoken with industry professionals, a few high profile talents, and they never give away that little tip. It's about, you know, becoming popular, that people want to pay for you to be on their project. Again, it sounds obvious. Not many people understand it. Very, very, very quick example. Not the best example, but it's the only one I'm going to mention for now. When Sharon Osbourne was entering the Big Brother house, the producers wanted her for the normal duration. I think it was something like £2 million. She was fee was requested, and they said it was an eye-watering amount. They just couldn't afford it. But they brought her in. I think it was for 5 days for £100,000 per day, which again is a lot of money. Did it pull in the viewers? Yes. Did it make the headlines? Yes, because she is Sharon Osbourne, and they knew having that name attached to the house would bring in the viewers. Obviously, that show, that's just an example. I'm not going to dwell on that. It's one of those shows. It's out there. I don't even bother with it. But that made headline news, And that is ultimately the reality of it. The more popular you are with your work, if you are really, really good at your work, people will pay to watch it, to see you. And that is, an amazing rite of passage as far as I'm concerned. And that's why when I see, people, as say, online struggling, put yourself out there as much as you can, present the best work you can, showcase it in the best possible light. Don't give up, be creative, be proactive, and ultimately keep going whether you get results or not, because I think many of you will remember MySpace, the website. I don't even use it anymore. I can't even remember what my account looks like. And I'm going to say one famous name. And again, this is not film related in the slightest, but this is an example. Justin Bieber, he was discovered through MySpace, and then the rest is history. Look at him now. Again, I think another one possibly was Lily Allen. She was spotted through, I think it was some online media. I think it might be MySpace or something else. But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is you've got to be liked. You've got to engage with your followers, your fan base, keep them active with you. It's not an overnight journey, and you've got to really have the energy and the willpower to want to do it. And at times things can seem hard. The world at the moment is upside down. In some places it's on its knees and it's tough. It's only going to get tougher, and this is why I'm making this podcast. I know there are a lot of people out there that are struggling, and you got to do what you can, to get your name discovered, to get your name out there. Be the best you can be. Improvise if you have to. Work within a budget. Get as many people to support you and you support them. Work with each other and shine. Shine, 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 shine until there is nothing left to shine with. Thank you everyone once again for tuning in, and take it easy.